Hey everyone, so I know a lot of you have been wanting to see this video for a while where we compare the Aeroccino 3 with the Aeroccino 4 and the Barista Maker, just to show the differences between the machines, because the Aeroccino 3 comes free with a lot of machines, doesn't it? Or you pay for it, but it comes with the machines. The Aeroccino 4 is £10 more if you're buying it individually, so is it worth the upgrade? And the Barista Maker is at £179. Is it a frother? What does it do? When I first looked at it, I didn't have a clue really. I thought, what makes it £179 worth of a machine? And now I've been using it a little bit, I can see what the difference is, but whether you think it's worth it, well, hopefully this video should explain it. But it's not going to be the easiest, because we're going to do our best to try and do things at the right time. But here we go, I'm going to try and show you how they work. So we'll start off with the buttons and the springs. So this is the Aeroccino 3. The button is on the front, and it comes with a set. It has two settings on it: cold milk and hot froth milk. Well, cold froth milk and hot froth milk. But on the inside, it has a spring, and you can remove the spring so that it doesn't froth the milk. It just heats it up. So that's the Aeroccino 3. Like I say, on the front, if we have a look, it has a button, and you'll turn it on, and that's what it does. The buttons are on the front. Not dishwasher safe. That's another thing to mention, not dishwasher safe. The Aeroccino 4, that has 4 settings on it. Similar to the Aeroccino 3 in some ways with these 3, because it has cold milk, cold froth milk, just hot milk, like steamed milk sort of texture, and then a frothed hot milk. But it also has an extra froth button, which is actually really good. I use that every day pretty much because I love it. But inside, there's a spring exactly like the Aeroccino 3. But you never take that off with the Aeroccino 4. It always stays in. So if you just want steamed milk, you don't have to faff about taking the spring off all the time. Now, the Recipe Maker. Yeah, that's dishwasher. Sorry, yeah, the top part of this, my wife's just reminding me to say, is dishwasher safe. The base isn't, as far as I'm aware. So that's the difference between those, £10 difference. Then we move on to the big £179 machine. That, if you turn it on, we can just see, if I turn it on, we've moved all plugs around to plug the machines in. That has 13 different recipes stored on it, and this is where it comes into its own. It does have a hot milk recipe, but to be honest, you can put as much milk as you like, but it doesn't froth it up very much. It's more hot, what it says, hot milk. There's a Baby Chino one where it froths it a little bit, but you're only supposed to put, I think, 100 ml of milk in, so it only comes out about that high in the recipe glass, you can see. We're going to be using the recipe glass to make a Latte Macchiato, if I can find that. And that's the plan, to show you the difference between the 3 in a minute, is we're going to make a Latte Macchiato with all 3 to show you the difference. But what I'm also going to do afterwards is make, I think it's called the Mocha Vennios. That's just a mocha. It's on here somewhere. Well, we'll find it. We'll pause the video, and if I have to add it through the app, I'll add it. But I'm going to make a Mocha Vennios, because what that will show you is how it whizzes up like chocolate inside of it, chocolate squares, to make the mocha. And it makes a really nice mocha. And also the way it froths up skim milk afterwards, so that you can just sort of spoon it over the top with your barista spoon. And then finally, after all that, we're just going to try and use the Aeroccino 4 to use the extra froth setting to see if we can recreate the skim milk that this does. You know, because this really does whip it up like whipped cream, the skim milk. But can this do it with the extra froth setting? I actually haven't tried it yet myself, so this will be interesting for me to see as well. So that's the plan. What we'll do now, if you can see, we've put equal amounts of milk, around 150 ml of milk in each of these cups. It might be a bit hard to focus in. Well, it's focusing all right. But you can see they're exactly the same. And we'll just transfer the cups into these, and I'll show you the standard froth setting on this. If you want to see the standard froth setting on this, then we did a video recently where we compared which is the best type of milk to use in the Aeroccino 4. Or any Aeroccino. And you can see that on there if you want to go and watch that video. But just to show you what this has extra that this doesn't, I'm going to use the extra froth setting to make the Latte Macchiato. So what I'll do now, my wife's going to pour the milk into each, while I take a breath. because to be honest, I'll probably end up spilling it everywhere. We'll try and set them off together, and then we'll make a latte macchiato. And I'll grab the recipe glasses. So we're going to just use the recipe glasses to make a latte macchiato in each of these two. And then when we see the difference between them, we'll make one on this using the latte macchiato setting just to see what the difference is with that and the Aeroccino 4. Right, let's get this ready. So we want... So what I've done there is I've set off the standard milk setting, that should take about a minute. And then this is the extra froth setting, that should take about 1:20, which actually, just thinking about it now, is going to give me a little bit of time, hopefully, to just pour the latte macchiatos out using the Satise machine over here. So let's see these going now. I'll be as quick as I can so we don't have any issues. So I've used semi-skim milk in all of them as well, because that's what it said to use on the latte macchiato with this one. I just thought, especially, I don't know if you've seen the deal pop up today on the Nespresso site where there's you can get an Essenza Mini for £59 with 100 free capsules. And also £25 gift subscription. So that's the first one finished, the Aeroccino 3. That's the froth milk from that. Actually the Aeroccino 4 is finished, so we'll pour that as well. So if you just focus on this, well, we'll start with this. We'll just go quickly back over here. That's the Aeroccino 4 milk that's just come out. This is the Aeroccino 3. Obviously we're doing our best to be as quick as we can. We don't want any of the milk to dissolve. If we just look over here, that's roughly the size of what's come out of the Aeroccino 3, the drink. Coming up to sort of this top fill line here just. Then we've got the extra froth setting on the Aeroccino 4, and you can see it's giving you that bit of extra froth. I'm actually quite impressed that I haven't used an Aeroccino 3 for a long time, so it's done a fairly good job really, but this obviously is good as well. Better really, you know, it is frothing it up more, isn't it? So that's the difference between those two, and we'll now just move over. We're just going to wash the Aeroccino 3 one out because that's obviously a bit smaller, and we'll see what the upgrade's like. Hopefully I can find this Mocha Vennios. Oh, it's Latte Macchiato, that's why I can't find it, I haven't added it. So Latte Macchiato on there. I'll try and attempt to pour this milk in. Don't worry, I got all that in. We'll press that now. My wife's just washing out. I need to get some more recipe glasses. I wasn't expecting to do 3 drinks in one video. We'll just back up a little bit here. So that's the Latte Macchiato from the Aeroccino 4. Lot to think about in this video. Sorry, we're a bit quiet in between, but there's a lot to think about. Getting the timings right. So it should hopefully just highlight a few differences, I'm hoping, this video between these things to see. Don't forget, don't just, once you see this, if it's lower than this or you're not impressed, or you think for over £179 I'm not going to get this, But that's your decision, you can do that, but do stick around just to see what it does with the Mocha Vennios, and also to see if this whips up skim milk well on the extra froth setting. I'm wondering whether the Aeroccino 3 one came out so well, because this is brand new, it's never been used. I'm pretty impressed with that. So maybe the springs are a bit temperamental on them. When you take, I know a commenter did mention that actually, that when he takes his spring in and out, sometimes he finds he has to put it back in exactly the right spot for it to work properly, which is obviously a bonus. I've never took the spring off this one, the Aeroccino 3, but it's a bonus with the Aeroccino 4 that you don't have to remove that spring as much. Obviously for cleaning now and then, to make sure it's looking right. Right, so we're going to come in and pour this now. This is the milk from the Barista Maker, Latte Macchiato. And we can see really a huge difference there, I think, in foam. But what I would say about the foam, is that it's a different sort of foam I've found. It's a finer foam. It does seem to be nicely consistent throughout the drink, especially on like the flat whites and the mochas. It's just got a nice foam, but as you can see, it isn't as thick. And I've never actually come across it as thick when using semi-skim milk. We see a massive difference there. And I think, although the video isn't perfect, I hope that that's captured the differences between the Latte Macchiato on the three devices. Now what we're going to do is just going to pause a second, and we're going to go away and I'm going to make sure this Mocha Vennios setting is on the Barista Maker, and we'll be back to make that in a second. Right, so we're back now to make the Mocha Vennios. Before we do, we just wanted to show that the handle comes out with the Barista Maker and the lid comes off. This part of it is all dishwasher safe, obviously the base isn't, but you never wash the base anyway. There's a whisk inside of it which isn't magnetic. I can't remember whether we said this already, but isn't magnetic when the base is in, or out, sorry, but when it's in, it becomes magnetic. So that means that when you take it out to pour your drink, you have to either take the whisk out or put your finger on top to stop the whisk falling out. So let's make the Mocha Vennios now. And the reason we couldn't find it is because it was actually a different set. It's called chocolate, what was it called again? Chocolate Vennios. Yeah, chocolate Vennios, we can see there. And it has two stages to it. Step 1 and step 2. So we're having to do this again now. We're making this for the second time because we actually forgot to put the coffee in. So if that's why everything is set up differently. But we're using 4 chocolates, 4 dark chocolate squares from Nespresso. You put those in with 100ml of milk. If we just have a look from the top. This is step 1 of making a coffee Vennios. It's actually called the chocolate Vennios on the machine. I might have said that already. But... So 4 of these chocolates. While we're doing that, I'll just say again, it was interesting how well the Aeroccino 3 came out on that, because my old one, it was about 5 years ago I bought that, and I'm wondering if they've improved since then, because that was quite interesting to see how that came out. So it's a shot of ristretto going in, and we'll put that into the Barista Maker and show you how it whizzes up all the chocolate. So like I say, this is a 2-step process. At first it blends up all the chocolate with the milk, and then in the second one we have to wash it out and then put another 100ml of skim milk in. And then we'll see how that whips it up, the skim milk. See the chocolate squares there being blended up. We have a lot of unboxings and reviews of all these items, by the way, that you've seen today. I'm going to be reviewing the Barista Maker finally soon, when I'm going to be making more drinks with it. So be sure to subscribe and follow us if you want to see that. And also any Nespresso products that are coming out. And don't forget to check out that deal. Essenza Mini it is, with 100 capsules free and a £25 subscription free. I think a month's worth of subscription. If you buy an Essenza Mini, which is discounted, I think it was $59.99. It just seemed to pop up today on the UK website. Sorry if that disappoints you if you're in the US. I know I've had a few people saying, why don't we get deals like that? Turns into quite a mammoth video this, hasn't it? But I'm just trying to give you all the information I can on the 3, just to help you make your decision, because it's, you know, it's a lot of money to spend and you want to get it right if you can, don't you? So this is step 1, just finishing up. The Barista Maker, by the way, comes with this booklet with a load of recipes in it. So if you're thinking about that, you know, you don't just get left to your own devices. It stores 13 recipes on it, and you can switch which ones on it in and out with the app, the Bluetooth settings on the app. So we'll now just quickly, you see how well it does the mochas. Look, they do look really nice. Perhaps we put a touch too much milk in, I'm not sure, but it does a nice mocha, that, doesn't it? So what we're just going to do now is quickly, well, we're washing it out now. We'll just leave the video running so you can see it in real time. We've got 100ml of semi-skim milk ready to go, and then we're going to be spooning over the semi-skim whipped up milk with this barista spoon that also comes with the Barista Maker, on top of that mocha there. If you've any questions, by the way, if I've missed anything, feel free to leave a comment below. You know, we're always try and help, and if I can't help you, there's a lot of seasoned Nespresso users who have subscribed to us. I'm sure they'll be interested to hear or help you out with any comments as well. I'll do my best, but we're always here to help if we can. It's also important in between these stages, if you do buy the Barista Maker, be sure to drag the temperature of the unit down with cold water beforehand, and make sure you get rid of any water from the inside of the jug and also off the whisk, just so it doesn't mix up with the milk and affect the frothing process. Almost ready to go now. Step 2 of the Mocha Vennios. Saying thank you to my wife for helping me out with this. A lot to think about what I'm saying and trying to do it all at the same time. I don't think I'd have been able to do it for this one. So step 2. You can hear it whipping it up, can't you, this time? What there isn't with the Barista Maker is just a setting for just like extra froth or a normal froth setting. I even spoke to Nespresso about this, and well, I'll tell you that in a second. It's done it up pretty quick. It's whipped up the skim milk now. You could just spoon that out on top. You could possibly, we haven't tried it yet, we could maybe pour it out over the top of the spoon as well. But it is a really nice texture, isn't it, when you come to drink it, that skimmed whipped milk. We just get a nice low shot down there as well. And that's the Mocha Vennios. Right, so one final thing I almost forgot to show you is the skim milk. I've got 100ml of skim milk inside of there. I've got a bit more than 100ml because I realised that it wasn't filling it even to the minimum setting, the 100ml. So I've added probably about 150 again. And I'm just going to see what the extra froth button does to that. Just to see if it whips it up at all, anything like the Barista Maker, just in case you can make a mocha via another method. Maybe like I've got one on the channel where we made one with melted chocolate squares that you just get in a supermarket, your favourite brand of chocolate, and melt those down into a cup and make a mocha out of that, and maybe you could just spoon some of this over the top in the same way as we did with the Barista Maker a second ago. So this is the extra froth setting again on the Aeroccino 4. We're just trying to just cover every base here, so we can finally pick which is the Aeroccino, which is the best Aeroccino, which is the best milk frother. Be interested to hear your opinion. Out of all these three, which one do you think's best? Has it helped you at all, the video? I'll be able to get it out a bit quicker as well than I did last time when we just made those drinks a minute ago. Trying to make 2 drinks in 5 seconds. Shouldn't be too far. One final thing I'll say. Yeah, it's coming out now. Someone asked me, does milk burn onto the bottom of the Barista Maker? From every time we've used it, I've got to say it doesn't. I've never had milk burn on the Barista Maker, but it does with the Aeroccino 4, especially on the extra froth setting because it's so much longer. So that's the texture you see with the extra froth on the skim milk. And while it's good, I mean it is good, but one thing I would say is it doesn't seem to have the same creamy texture. It's more of a foam. It doesn't seem to have the same creamy texture that it did with the Barista Maker, and it's a really nice... I really do like the texture of the skim milk that comes out of the Barista Maker, and that just looks a bit foamy to me, which is odd for me to say because, you know, I usually like foam. But on this occasion, I think I'd prefer the Barista Maker. What I was saying is, I spoke to Nespresso about it, and they actually agreed with me. I was surprised. They actually agreed with me, and the guy said, yeah, if you're looking for an Aeroccino, or if you're looking for a frother to simply, you know, whip some milk up, put it in your travel mug and away you go, froth some milk up, then the Aeroccinos are probably better. But if you're going for something where you want to have a go at making different recipes, it does ice recipes, hot chocolate, loads of different stuff, then that's what the Barista Maker's made for. It's not really designed just to be a milk frother. If you've got a different opinion, if you own one and you know a way to just get extra froth milk out of it quickly, let us know which setting to use, because I'd love to know, because I think we're going to be keeping this. But if I was just wanting a normal milk frother, I'd be choosing this one. If it was just a case of I want to throw some froth milk into some espresso and go, probably that one. Although I'm surprised today I haven't used this one, it's brand new. Like I say, my old one was 5 years old, so maybe they've improved the mechanism since then, I'm not sure. But I was impressed with that as well. So, but for £10, I mean, you get dishwasher safe, you get a nice handle. Personally, I prefer the look for an extra £10, but is it worth upgrading? Well, hopefully this video has just helped you to make that decision. My voice is going now, it's been a long video, ready for a drink myself. So thanks for watching, I hope we've helped you. Subscribe to the channel, loads of extra good videos on the channel page. Check them all out, and thanks for watching, bye for now.